Good morning to you. Beautiful Saturday morning. Just cleaning up my old pipe here. My Vina Rossi. Or I should say my Rossi Rubino. Enjoying my Saturday morning. Hope you enjoyed the intro music. That was original music by me. Just experimenting with some of my recording sound equipment. So I played a little tune on the guitar and hopefully it sounded good. I'm just enjoying some quiet time, practicing my writing with a calligraphy pen or whatever you want to call it. It's a lost art. As you can see, I was practicing writing a note. Practicing and practicing and practicing. Writing is a lost art. It is a lost art. So, fountain pen. It's just a cheap old fountain pen. I got this one as a present. I forget how I got it. I got some refills in it and stuff. But it's pretty interesting. I've been practicing writing my name, and I think it's important, as I try to write here, that we learn how to correspond in a better way. Not just through emails and text messages. You know, when I was a kid, we learned how to do cursive writing, and they don't teach that anymore. When my kids went through school, they never learned it. The funny story is my oldest boy, when he got his first paycheck from a part-time job, he said, "What do I do with this?" And I said, "Well, you sign the back of it, sign your name to the back of it, then we take it down and we cash it or we put it in the bank." So I said, "Put your name on the back, sign your name on the back, and then we'll take it down to the bank." So he brings me the check and he says, "Here you go." And he printed his name in pencil. Printed his name. And I said, "Son, don't you know how to write your name in cursive?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, we learned a little bit, but I don't remember too much." They learned how to sign their name. That's it. That's all they learned in school. I mean, I remember we had penmanship class. When I was in elementary school, we had to learn penmanship, and we had to do the letters and learn how to write cursive writing. So, you know, I'm learning how to slow my writing down and really think through the process. So I've been practicing and practicing and practicing, and I don't know, it's sad. I mean, there's a lot of things that's just not taught anymore, and writing is a lost art. I plan on doing a lot more writing of letters and notes, especially notes. My dad, you know, I said this before, but my dad used to live, Mom and Dad lived about 6 miles from me, if that, and up until the day he died. I never moved far away from home, and almost every month I got a letter from my dad, and sad to say I didn't appreciate it at the time, but I appreciate it now. And I'm really sad because I did not save a lot of what my father wrote to me. I have it's called an emancipation letter that my father wrote for each one of us boys. When we were coming of age, he wanted to write us. Actually, you know what? I'm going to look for that letter and I'm going to pull that out someday and I'm going to read that. Beautiful words of him describing how it's now my time of becoming a man, a young man. And it was just, I miss things like that. You know, you don't appreciate stuff like that until it's gone. But I've been enjoying my Saturday morning. The wife's off. She's at her tap dance class. It's about noontime now here. So I've just been writing. I'm writing short stories. My first short story I'm going to write, actually typing it, is about my first fishing trip, trout fishing trip with my father, and how exciting that was. And hopefully I can capture it in writing so that you can imagine what it was like. Getting away from a lot of the TV and trying to stay away from social media as much as I am, although I'm on YouTube quite a bit and stuff. But I want to develop my writing skills, as in typing or handwriting, communications and correspondence with people. It just doesn't happen anymore. And I think it's a dying art. I mean, if you see some of the letters that have been written from the past, and it's just a dying art. And one of the other things, I inherited many things from my father. Most of what I inherited are things that are not material, things that are invaluable, priceless things. But one of the things that we did is we got to go through his library of books. And one of the books my dad had was this book called The Book of Virtues. And I'll just read it, A Treasury of Great Moral Stories. Boy, do we get those anymore? We used to have those in school. The teacher would read us a story and it would be a moral to the story, Edited with commentary by William J. Bennett. This is the book. I don't know if it's showing up pretty good. It's a pretty thick book, and it's one of my prized possession books. And it's just little short stories in here. There's one in here in Pinocchio, the George Washington when he cut down the cherry tree. I mean, do you remember that? If you're my age, you remember that, or older. They don't teach that in school anymore. And over 80% of my audience is between the ages of 40, I think it said 44 and 55. So, you could appreciate stuff like this. I just want to read a short story here. These are things that, I wish I had this book because I could have read these to my children as they were growing up. But these are just great. It's the Book of Virtues, and this section is on honesty. I don't want to read something from this book here. It's called Someone Sees You, and it's a folktale that reminds us that an act of dishonesty is never truly hidden. Integrity is a big part of who I am, and I try to teach that to my children, even though they're young adults, and to people that I come in contact with and work with. I tend to draw people in that need some help, and some of the things I try to teach them is integrity is important. So just indulge me a little bit here. Let me read this. Someone sees you. Once upon a time, a man decided to sneak into his neighbor's fields and steal some wheat. If I take just a little from each field, no one will notice, he told himself. But it will all add up to a nice pile of wheat for me. So he waited for the darkness of night, when thick clouds lay over the moon, and he crept out of his house. He took his youngest daughter with him. Daughter, he whispered, you must stand guard and call out if anyone sees me. The man stole into the first field to begin reaping, and before long the child called out, Father, someone sees you. The man looked all around, but he saw no one, so he gathered his stolen wheat and moved on to the second field. Father, someone sees you, the child cried again. The man stopped and looked all around, but once again he saw no one. He gathered more wheat and moved to a third field. A little while passed, and the daughter cried out, Father, someone sees you. Once more, the man stopped his work and looked in every direction, but he saw no one at all, so he bundled his wheat and crept into the last field. Father, someone sees you, the child called again. The man stopped his reaping, looked all around, and once again saw no one. Why in the world do you keep saying, someone sees me? He angrily asked his daughter. I've looked everywhere, and I don't see anyone. Father, murmured the child, someone sees you from above. I mean, what a great little short vignette about integrity, about honesty. I know I've failed many times. Although we think no one sees us. Our Father up above sees everything we do. And we will be called into judgment on that last day for everything we've done. I don't know if you believe in God, and if you don't believe in God, that's fine, but I do. And the lesson here, if you're a father, what you teach your children is what they become. What you show them by example is what stands out most to them. I am thankful that I had a father. Excuse me. I am thankful that I had a father that taught me the value in honesty. I'm thankful that my father taught me through example what integrity is all about. And that though at times I would fail, I could always come and ask for forgiveness. When someone is dishonest with me, it's not just me they've sinned against. It's not about me at all. But the one above who sees everything is the one that we sin against, that we have trespassed against. Just a few thoughts. Enjoy your Saturday. Have a blessed weekend.